Hello, I'm Seamus Jefferson, the new Director of CONCORD, the European NGO Confederation for Relief and Development. For CONCORD, 2014 will be a year as much about politics as policy. The European Parliament elections in May and the nomination of a new European Commission in the autumn will affect Europe's role in international development, and possibly profoundly so. CONCORD's 4 priorities for this year are campaigning for the Europe we want, European Parliament elections and the new set of commissioners, promoting an ambitious post-2015 framework and financing for development, strengthening strategic alliances and partnerships, and responding to the increasing demand of civil society for an enabling environment, and developing a new long-term CONCORD strategy.
We need leadership to tackle global challenges. And what global challenges we're talking about? When it affects us all, so it's climate change, it's poverty, and this is happening in Europe and outside Europe. We're talking about inequality between the ones that have a lot and the ones that have very little. In this context, we want a Europe that leads, and this is a time where there's going to be a change in the EU, it's going to be a change in the leadership, and we want to take this opportunity. So what's at stake at these European elections? Why these elections are different from the previous ones? Well, we have some forecasts saying that up to 30% of the new parliamentarians could be really on the anti-European, extremist and populist side, which is going to leave very little space for any political debate about policy making at the European Union. So it doesn't matter if you talk about your issue, or if you care about climate change, or if you care about poverty, or if you care about tax transparency. It's going to be very little debate because everything is going to be really blocked. So that's why we want CONCORD and all the membership to engage in this campaign on the Europe we want. So as CONCORD, we are launching this campaign, the Europe we want, and we are having 3 key messages. The first one is fairer Europe for fairer world. The second one is inequality hurts us all, and the third one is we want more participatory democracy.
Hi, I'm Jean Saldana from CITSE, a member of CONCORD, and I am here to speak about CONCORD's Priority 2 on post-2015 and financing for development. 2014 is a very important year for these 2 priorities. As you know, the post-2015 agenda is about formulating new development goals that would succeed the Millennium Development Goals that end in 2015. And what CONCORD is trying to do is to influence European discussions to ensure that Europe goes to the negotiation table with an ambitious and pro-poor and pro-human rights agenda. And that is what Priority 2 is. In the Financing for Development Task Force, we are looking specifically at the question of how a new post-2015 agenda around sustainable development will be financed. There are 2 important processes this year that we will be focusing on. In the earlier part of the year, in March, there will be a high-level meeting in Mexico, and that will discuss the successor of the Aid Effectiveness Agenda around development effectiveness. There is an important moment where we can maximize European ambition to take forward the development effectiveness agenda. The second part of the year, in the UN, negotiations will kick off on the actual nature of the goals and how financing for the goals will be provided. And those are 2 important moments that the task force will also be looking at and trying to influence through policy work, through lobby work, through coordinated action across the platform. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carlos, CONCORD board member. I would like to tell you about annual priority number 3, strengthening strategic alliances and partnerships and respond to the increasing demand of civil society organizations for enabling environment. We've been, under these priorities, taking stock of some of the debates we had in CONCORD. One is opening up to other civil society organizations in Europe and to other sectors, considering that we need to work together in order to be more political and in order to shape the current trends to civil society in Europe. The second priority is related to CONCORD as a regional actor working together with other regional actors in the world. We want to provide tools for local civil society to better engage in political dialogue with the European Union delegations at country level as one of the main dimensions of enabling environment. Civil society, in its role of monitoring and participating in the definition of public policies, do need meaningful debates. For those debates, they need tools and chances and space for engaging. We know that civil society space is shrinking. We can see this either in the funding possibilities and also in the mechanisms for participating in public policies.
Our fourth priority is developing CONCORD's next multi-annual strategy to guide the Confederation for the next 7 years. This may sound a rather dry internal exercise, but in fact aims at a creative and lively conversation about who we are and what we want to achieve as a network. Developing our new strategy continues the work begun last year of developing a political narrative for CONCORD. This involved rethinking our role as a sector and telling a clearer story of who we are and where we want to be in the future. We want to design an open and participatory process for establishing the new strategy. Our next step is to give CONCORD members clear information on how and when they can participate. The idea is to make this an inclusive exercise and easy for everyone to have their say.